So today morning at 3 a.m., right before I actually went to sleep, I was trying to contact my grandma as I usually would right before I go to bed. And yesterday it was a little bit different. As you may have already guessed, I couldn't actually do that. I opened Messenger or I launched Messenger, I searched up her name, I came to call her, and what I realized is that there was just a continuous spinning bar. Um, I couldn't call, I couldn't send even a message, or like I would type it up, click send, and it wouldn't even show that it was delivered. And obviously, as you all might have already thought, I thought that there was a problem with my phone or with my Wi-Fi. So restarted my router like a few hundred times, turned off my Wi-Fi, turned on my 3G, turned it off, tried everything you can think of, and I just couldn't get it to work. I couldn't send that one simple message. Now, obviously, at that time, I was a little bit panicking, so I didn't think of trying to message someone else. I was just trying to contact my grandma. I was like, oh, what well, is the problem with her? Could something have happened to her? Why can't I reach her? And so I just decided to contact her on WhatsApp. And when I did go to WhatsApp, the problem was there as well. And that's when I realized that, well, that's definitely not an issue that I have. It's not a personal issue. It must be an issue with Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp whatsoever. And when I searched up whether Facebook was down or not, I realized that everyone across the world, not just Sydney, not just Australia, not just me and my grandma, is not able to connect to not just Facebook, but any of the services or any of the companies that basically Facebook owns, any of these servers. That includes Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, Messenger, and even any other microservice. For example, if you use your Facebook account to log in through different apps, whether it's a game, whether it's a YouTube channel or anything, or even a website or a blog, that you use your Facebook account to log in, all of a sudden you are actually not able to access those services. And that's because those services themselves were unable to connect with Facebook and authenticate the user or anything else. And in case you don't know, that is a huge problem. A lot of people do rely on social media for their businesses, for their social life, and for so many things that just over entertainment. Especially right now in Sydney and in Australia and maybe some other places, few places are still in lockdown, and Facebook or social media in general is a huge part of their lives on how they can keep themselves entertained and connected to the whole world. Back to me. I was obviously worried. I didn't think my grandma would understand that there's a problem with Facebook in the whole world, and so I knew she would be worried about me. I tried to reach her and I couldn't, but then eventually I just ended up calling her through an international call, and it might cost me a little bit, but I just wanted to let her know that I'm safe, and I wanted to check that she is safe as well. I just went to sleep straight after because I wasn't bothered and I was tired, and obviously there was nothing to do since all these social medias were off. But what I realized the next morning, and it was a little bit unexpected because I thought a lot of people have shared similar experiences like I did, was that so many people or a lot of people were just on that trend saying, oh, thank God Facebook and Instagram were down. We managed to get a break. Facebook is ruining our lives, or Facebook is controlling us. Or they were claiming things like, oh, now you see how much control Facebook has over you. And when I say Facebook, I'm just referring to the whole bunch: Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, whatsoever. And I found that a little bit funny because I feel like those people really don't understand, or I feel like a lot of people don't really appreciate or understand the importance of social media, including Facebook, including Instagram, and including WhatsApp. Now, straight off the bat, yes, there can be some damages and there can be some negatives from those services, but overall, I really feel like those social media platforms are underrated. Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp and Messenger have about 3.5 billion users. Just think about that for a second. That's 3.5 billion minds on these platforms, on those 4 or 5 platforms. And although you might think that it's just useless and you might be using it just to contact your friend to discuss silly things or just waste your time, a lot of those 3.5 billion people don't actually use it just for that. Although that's important and it's good to have some fun time, but a lot of people really use this stuff for their businesses, for connecting with loved ones, just like I do. And I really couldn't think of a scenario where I would never be able to contact my grandma. Like, I couldn't contact her for like 1 or 2 hours because I just started trying to talk to her at 3 and ended up calling her by 4 using my landline. But I can't imagine a time, and that time was true, it was just like a few years back, when I couldn't talk to her for a few years or months or weeks or days. Just the idea that I can't just pick up a phone and call her immediately did freak me out. And I don't think a lot of people really understand the great feeling or the convenience that Facebook brings someone like me, allowing me to connect with people across the whole world, or allowing me to connect with my family and friends across the whole world. And that is important, especially during these times where I have been disconnected from a lot of my friends and family because of lockdown. If it wasn't for Facebook, if it wasn't for Instagram, if it wasn't for WhatsApp, I really think I would have seen myself being distant from all those people. But what I'm not seeing, or what I am seeing right now, is that I'm still connected. My friends in Egypt, we listen to the same music, we discuss the same political views, we argue, we debate, we even play video games just directly by contacting each other through those platforms. And even if a week goes by without me contacting them, I see the things they share, I see the music they listen to, I see the photos they share, I see the food they eat. Literally, people post their food. And that keeps me connected to a particular extent with those people. I know what that person is like. I know that they're still the same. I know that they still eat the same food on Fridays or Saturdays. And that helps me remain connected. It helps keep the connection as if I never left. And I feel like a lot of people really need to understand that social media is not just a waste of time. It could be, but it's not. And for those people who just kept saying that it is, and that thank God for those 7 hours we got without the social media, I would really like to know what they actually did during those times. What did you do during those 7 hours? Did you come up with treatment for cancer? Did you finish all your math homework? Did you actually go and visit those friends that you always wanted to see? I doubt so. I really doubt that during those 7 hours you had a life revolution and you suddenly used all that time that you would have wasted on social media to do something useful. I really think that if you're wasting your time on social media, and you can waste your time doing anything, you can waste your time reading a book, you can waste your time exercising, you can waste your time doing anything if you're not doing it properly and with balance. I would really like to know what you actually managed to do during those 7 hours. And if you found that 7 hours without Facebook or social media is such a big relief, then I'm surprised that you then went back to social media when you were able to discuss how social media is a waste of time. I would assume that after 7 hours of you realizing that that's the best time of your life, you wouldn't go back to it as soon as you're able to go back to it. And by the way, all these sort of benefits or the positive side that I'm talking about is not even referring to the business side of things. I'm referring to the personal side of things with social media and how that makes me happy. But as someone who does have few online businesses, I do depend entirely on social media to make sales. And especially during lockdown, I never had a physical store, but I cannot imagine the horror some or few people experienced when they're actually using their Facebook or Instagram as their e-commerce platform and not a physical store because of lockdown or any other reason. Something else is that WhatsApp is actually a huge tool for a lot of third world countries. I'm not sure if you've been to a third world country or not, but when I visit Egypt, everyone uses WhatsApp. They use it sometimes for bank transfers, they use it for money, they use it as a website alternative where they can actually put products and sell it and communicate with customers. So it's a huge deal. And for WhatsApp to be down, especially that it's known for its security and its encryption, that is a big deal for so many people. So overall, I really do think that social media is underrated. Although a lot of people tend to waste their time on it, I think that without social media, those same people will still find any other way to waste their time. I feel like social media has managed to connect us and share information across the whole world instantly. Scientists can just share information. They can share their bibliography. They can read. They can do some research together through social media, or even spread awareness towards a particular point, such as heavy use of social media can be bad. That can be shared using social media, and it can really help a lot of people come together to fight or to bring a particular cause. That was my view on social media. I hope you do actually agree to some point. If you don't, make sure you mention down in the comments why you don't agree with me and how you would have seen it better. And let me know, what did you actually end up doing during your 7 hours of social media free? Because I ended up sleeping. It was 3 a.m. So on the other side of the world, please let me know what you actually ended up doing. Thanks so much and see you next time.